Hello, wine lovers. This is Jennifer Simonetti-Bryan, Master of Wine, and this is the 1 Minute Wine Master. Now, are you frustrated that you can't try wines before you buy them? I know I am. Even if you go to a restaurant and they pour you that little taste, that's to see if it's flawed or not whether or not you like it. I wish it were if you like it or not. But because it's a closed product and it can be quite expensive, we just simply can't. It's not like grapes at the supermarket where you can just like pluck one off and eat it and say, ooh, these are good. I wish it were that case, but you can't. So that makes it a conundrum for so many people out there around wine. Now, when I first started into wine, or even before I was into wine, someone would ask me, well, what kind of wine do you like? I would generally fall back on, well, I don't know, but I know what I like, which generally meant I couldn't describe to you what I like, and I can't remember a wine that I like, but if you gave me one, I'd like it. So that's the problem. If you know what you like, but then you can't try everything that's out there, how are you supposed to know? Actually, that's the reason why I created the 1 Minute Wine Master. Now, okay, I know this is going to sound like shameless promotion, and it kind of is. I wrote a book called The 1 Minute Wine Master, and it's on Amazon. You know, I think now it's like $5. But in it is a quiz with 11 questions, and after you answer those questions, you have to tally up the points, and you get placed into one of 4 categories: spring, summer, fall, and winter. This is kind of like getting your colors done. If, you know, all the women out there, you know what I'm talking about. For you guys who have no clue what I'm talking about, having your colors done for makeup, it's like, I have brown hair and I have brown eyes, so that means I'm a fall. So earth tones and fall colors must look good on me, like orange and forest green and browns and stuff like that. And you know, I don't mean to sound conceited in any way, but I think I look good in purple, and that's a winter color. So it's to be taken with a grain of salt. So, but it's a starting point, and I knew, before I knew anything about makeup, it was a great starting point for me. And that's what this is meant for you, as a starting point. So after you take the quiz, you can get it online, but even if you don't, this episode will have you understanding what each of those 4 styles are, so you may not even have to take the quiz. So we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. Let's start with spring. If you landed in the spring category, spring wines are exactly as they sound. They're fresh, they're light, they're crisp, and they have like spring-like characteristics, as you would expect to find in spring. You know, spring is fresh and lovely and smells of flowers and all of that. So that's what spring wines are like. So an example of this might be a Sauvignon Blanc. A Sauvignon Blanc is a white wine, or a white grape from France, and it is very light in body. I mean, when I say light in body, I mean skim milk versus heavy cream, if you get my analogy. So it's light in body, it's crisp and refreshing in its acidity, and it can smell like flowers and a lot of times that fresh cut grass that you smell in the spring. So it's a spring-like wine. But you may also like wines with a little sweetness. So for example, like a pink Moscato. Pink Moscato is a slightly sweet pink wine, and those in the spring category can range in their likeness for sweetness. Now Muscat, or Moscato in Italian, is one of the oldest grape varieties that there is for wine. And you can buy table grapes that are Muscat grapes in Europe, and these grapes make incredible wines of all different styles, but we're just talking about Moscato and Pink Moscato right now. For Pink Moscato, the wines tend to be lower in alcohol, which a spring category would like. You know, it's going to have some floral characteristics, and it's going to have a little bit of sweetness, so what's not to like? So those are 2 options for someone like a spring. Now the next category is summer. In the summer, I think of juicy fruit, and growing up all around the country, I'm an Air Force brat, I remember going in Massachusetts to a farm where there was these peaches, and and you bit into this peach and it was just dripping down your arm and juice and everything, and the smell was just so gorgeous. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I was so amazed at how ripe and delicious some of the produce is here. It really is unbelievable. But those who land in the summer category really like wines that are very fruity. So that fruit really pops. that's where they're going to like some wines like certain types of Pinot Noir, or they may like certain Shiraz wines. That's a great variety. Shiraz or Syrah is a great variety, and as well as Pinot Noir. Those are red grape varieties. And what's great about them is that you've got this luscious strawberry and raspberry kind of flavor that's really reminiscent of summer. For white wines, you can look at something like a Viognier. Viognier is also a great variety. It comes from France, southern France, and it tastes, even though it's floral, you might think it belongs in spring, but it's very robust in its body, so it's more towards the heavy cream end of the spectrum. And it has some very floral aromas and notes of peach. And so that reminds me of summer as well. So those are good examples of wines that you're going to want to have as a summer. Now for fall is exactly how it sounds. Fall, you want spicier wines. Now take, for example, Chardonnay. Before I knew anything about wine, someone came to me and said, do you know what a oaky, buttery Chardonnay is? And I would say, yeah, I have no idea. Chardonnay is a grape, just like the others I was talking about, and it's a white grape, and a lot of times it's fermented in barrels. Or it's matured in barrels. And what the barrels do is impart some spiciness, so vanilla spice or other kind of brown spices into the Chardonnay grape, which has a reminiscence of apples, which we kind of associate with fall. And whether it's grown in California or in France, it can have a kind of it can have a citrusy note, but most of the time it's kind of this apple note with vanilla and brown spices, which always reminds me of like apple pie and fall. So if you like that, that is going to be a great white wine for a fall category person. On the red wine side, they also have a spice to them. So whether it's black pepper or it's licorice, there always is a little something spicy to the fall wines. Now lastly, we have winter. Winter wines are those big, bold, and rich wines that put hair on your chest. And they go great with very beefy stews and stuff that you would have in the winter. So I would qualify, let's say, a Cabernet Sauvignon, which a lot of people know is a red grape variety. They qualify that as a rich, robust red wine. It's full body, meaning more heavy cream at the opposite end of the spectrum of skim milk, and it's really bold and powerful in its flavors. So there you have it, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Next episode, we're going to go through these different styles of categories, and we're going to go through gems under $10, because a lot of people ask me, Jennifer, I would love to find a wine that's in my style, but for under $10. So we're going to do that. Until next time, cheers.